Hello, my name is Dean Contover. This is Current Buzz. Welcome to the show. Today we have a Captain John Greenwood. He's going to be with us. He's a Minuteman, and he's going to tell us what Minutemen do or what they did in years ago, right? So he's a member of the 6th Middlesex Regiment, and you might wonder what the 6th Middlesex Regiment was. Well, you guys participated in the Revolutionary War.
Correct.
Right. Not the 6th Middlesex of Massachusetts in the Civil War. There was another 6th.
Right, there was a 6 back in the Revolutionary days as well.
Right, okay. So, John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Good to be
it.
here.
Yeah, definitely. You're familiar with this school. It was named after Minuteman.
Yep, Moses Parker.
Lieutenant Moses Parker.
Yep.
And he was wounded at Bunker Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me about the 6th Middlesex, what you guys do. Why was it started? I understand it was started in 1999 or established.
I'm not exactly sure of the date.
Well, I looked on the website and that's what it
Okay,
said. Yeah.
and that's the date.
That's the date.
The 6th Middlesex was formed because back in the 70s, when the Minuteman groups in the individual towns of the area started to form up, we had a lot of people that were involved, and as many as 60 or so people in every town were part of the militias and the Minutemen. Eventually, when 1980 rolled around, we had the bicentennial in 76. When 80 rolled around, everybody says, okay, that's it, I'm done. And like, for instance, I started in Westford. There were 65 Minutemen at the bridge for the bicentennial in 75. In 76, when I joined, we were down to 35. By the time 80 rolled around, there were 3 of us left. So everybody else had quit. And the 3 of us kept going for a while, and then eventually we tried to get more people to join. Okay. Every other town was in the same dire straits. They only had 3, 4, 5 guys.
Got it.
So we decided to make a regiment that if we get the towns together, we'd be able to attend events and look like we're bigger. So we can go to Chelmsford and be the Chelmsford Minutemen. And we can go to Westford and be the Westford Minutemen. Wherever we need to go. If we're at some place and we're not representing that town, we're the 6th Middlesex Regiment. So that's how it all got going.
All right. Now, you need people to join. It doesn't matter whether they're ethnic or woman.
Nope. It absolutely doesn't matter. There were women in the Revolutionary War that dressed as men, and they were not discovered unless they got wounded. And then, you know, they found out that they might be a woman. There were others that fought for the entire revolution and never were discovered as being women.
No, that's interesting. I didn't hear that story.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been allowed to participate as women because things were much more chauvinistic back in those days.
Right.
There were women that followed the troops around and, you know, took care of things and did that kind of stuff. Right. But we would take women that want to dress up as men and carry a musket and do that kind of thing.
So how would they contact you? Would they go online and would they email you or Facebook?
Both.
All right.
We have our website, which is the 6th Middlesex Regiment. You just look that up. It's with the 6th Middlesex Regiment. You look that up and you'll get to our website. And there's a way to join or, you know, to send an email, which will come to me. We also have our Gmail account, which is 6middlesex@gmail.com. And they can contact directly. I check it every day so that I'm able to see if anybody, you know, contacts us and interested in joining. We just had an event in Westford, a practice, we call them musters. And we actually had 2 people join the unit after that. So they're actually coming to try to get, a temporary outfit until they can get their own stuff.
Okay, so again, I was going to ask you that question in regards to outfit. How does that work out in regards to outfit? I mean, you have to expend a little money, don't you?
You do, yeah. In the long run, the most expensive item is the musket.
Okay.
Other than that, what you have to wear as a member of a militia is your basic outfit of the period, which would be the normal clothes that somebody wore. This is not a uniform. This is just the clothing I'd wear as a farmer.
Right.
We have leftover clothes from guys that have either retired or have outgrown their stuff. Since I've been in since '76, this is my 47th year doing this. And I've gone through numerous outfits over the years.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yeah, because sizes change a bit. So I keep the extra stuff, and I collect stuff from some of the other guys. We have it in what we call the slop chest. Right. And then people will come over, we'll temporarily outfit them in that. And then as they get their own stuff, we'll go and take the stuff back for somebody else to wear.
Yeah, I wanted to get somebody on camera 3 so you could show the musket and explain the musket to people. And
So this is a Brown Bess musket. This is actually a replica. This is not one from back then.
Okay.
It's an exact replica.
How much would that cost roughly? Give me a ballpark figure.
Right now, this particular one would probably cost you around $900.
Okay.
A brand new one might go for $1,200 or $1,300.
Okay. What would a regular rifle a musket?
Musket, yeah.
I call it rifle, but
right.
A musket in those days cost?
In those days?
Yeah. No, not those days. Present day. I'm sorry, present day.
Yeah, present
how much?
Present day, we're talking anywhere from $800, $700, say, for a used one in fairly good quality, up to brand new ones that are $1,200, $1,300, depending upon where you get it from.
Okay, let's say my ancestors had a musket and I have it. How much would it be worth today?
You know what? I couldn't tell you what the antiques are worth.
All right.
You couldn't use them. You could carry it. You couldn't fire it.
All right.
There's no way to know whether or not the steel, after 200 and almost 50 years, would still be good. I wouldn't want to take any chances on firing that
Good point.
kind of a weapon.
Good point.
This musket right here is 50 years old.
Okay.
So-
Power, ball, and musket.
Yep.
Explain where the ball goes in, the
Right.
powder, and the musket, how it works.
Okay,
Can you
so
explain it?
first of all, if you're part of a militia,
Right.
you have a cartridge box, which I have right here
Okay.
on the side,
Good.
which has individual holes which hold wrapped cartridges.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I can carry 24 wrapped cartridges for battle.
Okay.
Before I have to get rearmed. You take one of those, which has a measured amount of gunpowder in it.
Okay.
It's wrapped in paper. It has the ball. You rip it open. One important thing, to be a Minuteman, you had to have teeth. One on the top, one on the bottom. You laugh, but teeth were a big deal back
Yeah.
then.
Oh,
You rip
maybe
it
you could
off.
have, like George Washington had wooden teeth.
Well, in theory, they really weren't wooden, but
Yeah.
so you pull back on the hammer here. There's a little depression in the pan.
Okay.
You put a little powder in that. There's a little hole at the top of that
Okay.
depression. You close the FRISM cover. You flip around. You pour the rest of the powder down the barrel.
Okay.
You put in the ball. You put in the paper. You pull your ramrod out. You ram everything down tight. You put your ramrod back. Otherwise, you can't use the musket again. And then you pull back on the trigger, you aim, and if you watch right here, you'll see the
I
spark.
did see the spark.
And the spark will set off the powder in the pan, which will burn through the little hole called the touch hole, sets off the powder in the barrel, which explodes. And because it's in the barrel, the gases from the explosion are what actually pushes the ball out. The paper's in there to keep everything down at the bottom, because otherwise, if you tilt the barrel down at all, the ball would tend to roll towards the
Wow,
front.
good point.
So that's what the paper does, is keep it all packed in there tight.
I see. Let's get a close-up of that in regards to the spark.
All
Why
right,
don't we
and do that again.
See if we can, wait up, let's get the camera on there. If we can get the camera to zoom on. Okay, go.
You ready?
Yep, okay.
And we have a couple of modern things on here that weren't there back then. This is actually a safety thing that we put over the FRISM, so you can't accidentally fire it if it's
I
loaded. And there's also this flash guard right here, which protects the guy standing next to you, because when this goes off, the powder goes up and out. And if the guy's standing directly next to you, he can get burns from the powder.
Okay. What about his hearing?
Well, the hearing, the noise honestly comes from that end,
Oh, is that
which is
right?
out in front of you.
I see.
So for us, it's not as noisy as it is for the people in the parade that are in front of us. They hear the bang more so. We hear it, but obviously it's not as loud for us as it is for anybody that's on that end.
Is it your group that goes down to the Patriots game, or is that somebody
It's
else?
not our group.
It's not your group, okay.
There's
I'm sure
another
that's what
group that
people
does
have
it.
seen that, that's why.
Oh, yeah. You see them during the games in the end zone. They're called the end zone militia. And they have one at each end. And they fire every time that they score.
Right.
But that's a totally different group that
I
does
think
that
they
kind
should
of thing.
rotate those groups instead of seeing the same old.
They're actually employees.
You're kidding me?
No, Kraft hired them.
No kidding.
Yep, that's the story that I've been told, is that Kraft hired them because he wanted control of what was happening. So they're actually paid employees to go to the games and to do what they do.
And freeze their.
Yeah, if it's that way, or if it's raining, to try to keep the powder dry so you can fire in the rain. And yeah,
Okay.
I'd rather sit
That's
at home
something
and
new.
watch it on TV, to be honest.
That's something new to me. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that that was the case.
No, that's what I've been told is the case with them.
All right. The last couple of years, you guys slowed down because of the virus. And what's happening? You're going to have a parade on Patriots Day.
Patriots Day, there are several different parades that happen in the
Okay.
area. The first one at 9 o'clock in the morning is the Concord Parade
Okay.
in Concord, Mass.
How long is that?
Total, it's about,
Mileage. I'm talking about mileage.
I would say it's about 2 miles.
Oh,
I'm
is
not
it? Okay.
positive, but somewhere in that neighborhood for that parade. We join it at the North Bridge itself because we walk in from Chelmsford Center, from Westford, and from Carlisle.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
What time does that start on
The Chelmsford March, which is with the Chelmsford portion of the 6 Middlesex,
Okay.
leaves at 4 o'clock in the morning from the Chelmsford Green. We meet on the green, and we step off right at 4 o'clock. That's when the Minutemen actually left the day of the battle of April 19th.
Oh, they did?
They left at 4 in the morning.
No
That's
kidding.
when the alarm came,
Okay.
and they then headed towards Concord. The route that we take takes us through Carlisle Center. And so we get to Carlisle Center right about 6 o'clock, and we meet up with the Carlisle Minutemen, which are also part of the 6 Middlesex. And we then do a ceremony there, and we set off from Carlisle down and through the Esterbrook Trail, and we end up at the North Bridge.
Is Chelmsford Telemedia going to cover that, or did they cover it?
I don't think that they've ever covered it, no.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Right, and then we have another group that leaves from Westford, the Westford portion of the
Okay.
6 Middlesex. They walk in from Westford. Their hike is about 9 miles. Ours from Chelmsford Center is 10. The portion from Carlisle in is 5. So it's 5 to get to Carlisle and then 5 more to the bridge.
How many people, can anyone march with you?
Anyone can march with us that would like to. The big thing to remember is that you need to get back. So if you're going to march with us all the way to the North Bridge, you need to make arrangements in order to get back. Now, that might be you leave a car at the public parking in Concord Center, or you could have somebody come and pick you up at the end. You know, people have cell phones, so obviously.
And
they
you
can
don't have
call.
to wear a Minuteman outfit. You
Nope.
could just wear shorts or sneakers or whatever you want. Bring your own
Depending
water, right?
depending upon what the temperature is.
That's true.
You know,
And
because
19
we've had cold.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had a couple of years where we actually had to cancel because it rained. Then we lost 2 years to COVID. So we actually haven't had this hike for 4 years.
Right.
So,
Oh, wow.
but we're getting it back going again because the 250th anniversary of this event is going to be in 2025. So that's only 3 years away. So the Concord stuff happened in
I thought it was
75.
26.
26 is the country's
Oh,
250th.
countries. Okay, got it.
That's the 4th of July,
Okay, got it.
you know, in
Okay.
76.
The 250th will be 2026. So I want you to remember that. And I'm sure that Chelmsford will have a great parade. And
Oh,
you-
God, yeah.
and-
4th of July parade will
Yeah,
be
4th
huge.
of July. It's
Yeah.
mother of all parades
Right.
in the area. So you're going to be in that parade, right?
Right. We're the Chelmsford Minutemen. So everybody will be coming to Chelmsford. You know, there's other Minutemen that are there as well, but the Chelmsford Minutemen, obviously, because we represent the town, are towards the front of the parade.
I see.
So we'll be marching in that. We're in that every year. We've only missed 1 year because of COVID a couple of years ago. Last year they had the parade and we were there.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's only 1 year that we haven't been in it.
And you fire your muskets
Yes.
during the parade when you and everybody goes and they,
Yeah,
and they
yep.
scream and
Right.
and the kids.
We'll fire as many as 30, 35 rounds.
No kidding.
During the course of that parade.
Wow, that's good.
It's a long parade. It's like 2.25 miles.
If you're new to Chelmsford, it goes down North Road.
North Road.
Route 4.
4.
And it goes from the McCarthy Middle School to the center of town. Definitely go and see it. It's a hoot. And put your chairs out couple of days before.
Well,
so
you can't do it a couple of days. They only allow them the night before.
Oh, the night before. No.
Yeah, they stopped people were putting them out way too soon.
Oh, yeah.
They stopped doing that.
saw
They
like
used to
3 or
pick them
4
up.
Days, yeah.
Yeah. So now you can do it the night before, but
Oh,
that's
the
as
night
soon as
before.
you can do.
Okay, that's good
Yeah.
to know. I just like to stay at the McCarthy and just see everybody come together and march off, and that's it, and then I can go home.
Yes.
You know? They do televise the parade, so if you're in the nursing home or someplace, you know, put it on. It's Channel 8, I believe. It's Channel 8, Chelmsford Telemedia. You can watch the parade, and it's a great parade. They don't have a flyover, but what can you do? You can't have everything.
Can't have everything.
Yeah, it's a great parade. So we talked about membership. We're going to try to get you new members. People are going to get in touch with you. We're going to go for that, right?
Right.
New recruits. We talked about the 4th of July parade. We talked about, now you'll walk into Concord. My question is, are you going to march in the parade in Concord too? After
Yeah.
you might?
Yeah. So we march all the way to the North Bridge. Some of us take part in the reenactment at the North Bridge itself.
Okay.
Then they come back, we reform up. The parade is there at that point because they stop for the reenactment portion. And then we finish the parade with the rest of the parade that's already there. So our units will join in with the rest of the groups.
You
So
charge down the hill to the North Bridge?
we don't charge, no. I mean, they march down because they marched in an orderly military fashion to the actual battle.
Oh, is that
they,
right?
Yeah, they
Oh,
do the
okay.
same thing. There's no charging.
Okay. That's too bad. I was hoping they had a bayonet on it.
No.
So are there British soldiers there
Yes, there'll be
waiting
British
for
there.
you?
Yep, the 10th Regiment of Foot is usually there. I'm not sure who else helps them out, but the 10th usually comes. They do the battle at the Lexington Green at 6 in the morning, and then they usually come out to Concord and they do the reenactment there, and then they march to the end of the parade as well, and then they go back to Lexington for the Lexington parade at 2 that afternoon.
this thing at the North Bridge, and everybody should go to the North Bridge sometime in their life. This reenactment at the North Bridge, you killed 2 British soldiers because there's 2 dead soldiers that are still there.
There are 2 that are there, buried somewhere on the grounds. They haven't found them to date, but they're buried somewhere there. There's a 3rd who's buried on the side of the road going into, I believe it's called Monument Street. There's a little stone that will have a British flag next to it, which is located as you're going into the center of town on the left-hand side before you get in the center.
I don't remember ever seeing
He's
it.
buried
I have to
there.
look for it now.
Yeah, there was a
I
big
like that.
ceremony a long time ago, it had to be 20 years anyway, where they had found him by mistake when they were doing some excavating, I think for a sewer line or something.
Yeah.
And they found whatever remnants there were still there for him. And they reinterred him on the same spot. They didn't move him or do anything.
Right.
And we had a big ceremony, and
I know
a British unit
every
came
year,
and everything.
I know every year the British Council that comes up and they do a dedication on 19th.
Right.
Is
Yes.
this before the battle or after the battle?
It actually is, I believe they do it right after the battle. They'll lay wreaths.
Right.
And they put another wreath by the stone on
Okay.
the way into town
That's
during the
interesting.
parade. So, and then there were 2 Acton Minutemen that were killed also on our side. The captain of the Acton Minutemen, and I believe it was a drummer.
And where
I'm
are
not
they-
positive about
do
the
we
drum.
know
I've been
where-
a private.
Do we know where they were buried?
I believe they were brought back to Acton.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because, I mean, obviously Acton's just
Now-
a town over.
Now, Billerica had a flag, their own flag, and it's, from what I understand, it's at Billerica Library.
Bedford.
Bedford, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bedford had a
Bedford.
flag. I don't believe that flag, I don't think that was at the North Bridge. I think it was carried at some point. I may be wrong about that. I'm not positive if they brought it to the North Bridge. I don't think it was there at the time of the battle, but it was one of the very first flags that was used. I could be,
For a town.
yeah, for a town. I could be wrong. It may
yeah,
have been
yeah.
there. I'm not positive. But yeah, Bedford has that flag, and it's in the library in town. In fact, a week from Saturday, they're going to be having the Liberty Pole capping in Bedford. It's our first kind of ceremony of the year. And that's a good opportunity to go and see the flag. They have the library open.
Yeah.
So you're able to go
As
see
far
it.
as we know, Chelmsford didn't have a flag.
As far as we know, they did not have a flag.
flag.
We have a guide-on that we carry now. A guide-on is a little
Yeah.
a pendant,
I
if you
was in
want
the
to call it
military,
that.
but I
Right.
know what it is. But you can explain it to the
Yeah,
the audience.
it has the name of the town on it. If people have seen us in the parade, it's blue, and it has the monument, that's the Revolutionary War monument on it. It's not something that was carried back then, the representation,
Right.
because obviously the monument wasn't there.
Right.
And it says Chelmsford Minutemen on it. A lot of towns, most towns have them. They all look different. Some are bigger than others. Ours is fairly large. But it identifies what town is marching so that in parades you know who you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good idea.
And we have a number of different ones. We have the
Does-
Westford one, the Borica one, we have the Chelmsford one.
Does it spell out Chelmsford?
It does. It says Chelmsford Minutemen.
Okay, what color is it?
It's the actual guidon is blue with white lettering.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's easy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that in the parade. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who carries that?
It depends. We've had a military veteran carry it for us on some occasions. Usually it's one of our people, especially if it's a new member. Like we got 2 new members that are joining, hopefully in time for this event.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them will probably be carrying the guidon for the 4th of July. We'll see. But that's usually what they do at the beginning until we can get them a musket, because we don't carry a lot of extra muskets. Some of us, like I have 2. And I will bring one for somebody to carry for a particular event.
Right.
But to get a musket themselves, we will buy them when they become available as a unit, and then we will.
What's that mean by as a unit? In other words, the more you buy, the cheaper the musket is?
No, because we don't buy it in quantity.
Okay.
We're looking for them. They come on the market. These Japanese besses, as they're called, they were actually made in Japan back in the 70s and 60s.
All right.
Very, very good quality muskets. Like I said, this one's 50 years old,
Right.
and it's still going strong.
Right.
When one of these comes on the market, we will purchase it as a unit. We'll use our money
All right.
to buy a musket, and we'll keep it. And when somebody joins, then we can give it to them and say, okay, look, make a $100 payment a month, or what can you afford?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
can afford the musket.
How
in the long run.
can I buy a musket?
If you join the unit.
Oh,
We don't sell them to just people in general.
I see.
We, because they don't come up all that often. Right now, we don't have any in stock. We got 2 new members last year, and they bought our 2 muskets we had in stock.
I see.
So now we have, the word's out.
So
and
how do
hopefully
they
we'll get
how
more.
do they come up for sale? Online?
Yeah, online or through a local gun dealer, that has a place where they sell stuff and stuff like that.
And that might fall into their hands.
Yeah.
A musket.
Yep. And they know to call us because then they have a way of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And making a profit, obviously.
no
and
doubt
hopefully
about it.
they don't charge too much, and we're able to
Yeah.
get it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. I didn't know it was made in Japan.
No,
You know what I mean?
the Carlisle Minutemen back in the late 60s, like 68, 69, when the units were all forming,
Yeah.
they sent an original musket to Japan and asked them if they could replicate it and what it would cost. And the cost was great. I don't know what the original muskets
Right.
cost back then,
Right.
but they ended up replicating it, and they made a ton of them. This one right here, they're all numbered, and this one is number 6,490.
That many?
Oh, there was more than that. That's just what number this one is. So there are a ton of them out there. A lot of people probably have them hung up in their house because their father or their whatever, whoever,
Yeah.
was in the militia back in the 60s and 70s. And they still have them, and occasionally they'll come on the market because those people will get rid of them.
Do some people in the family think the original muskets? If they
Maybe,
don't-
but I doubt it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's easy enough to tell that they're not.
Oh, okay.
Especially since it says Japan in little
Oh,
tiny
it
letters
does.
right on
I
the
see.
side of the barrel.
I see.
So you can easily identify that it's not an original. But they're still, I mean, they look just like the originals, so you wouldn't know the difference if you hung it up.
Yeah.
And they work just like them, too.
Yeah. John, thank you for coming on the show. I mean,
No, not a
I
problem.
appreciate it very much. I mean, to see that you guys getting back into the groove is good, I think, and hopefully you can get new members. If you're out there, join.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
it is. We always have a lot of fun.